Hello all. Some people around the world, especially in the US, don't have to really worry about being poor or anything like that. Let's go to the board, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, here's the wealthiest. The name of this video is The Good Life. And what I wanted to show you was who the wealthiest members of the US Congress are. You can go ahead and just kind of scan it yourself. But we have 448,380,000,000, 231,000,000, 194,000,000, and 173,000,000, just to start with. But these numbers are more like guesses because of the loopholes in the requirement for Congress to report their yearly earnings are so large that these are just guesstimates. This particular Daryl Issue could have as much as 700 million, but it's a guess at 448. There's a lot of worry about the debt that the US has and how to pay it down or to keep from getting into default. The thing that's never brought up is that the wealthiest among us, they don't seem to get as much taken out of their pay percentage-wise as the poor do. The poor right now are going to be losing Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, along with other support, low-income child support, and food stamps. These are all being cut severely so that the wealthiest can stay wealthy and don't have to pay their fair share. Let me show you something else. We'll go back to the board. So Obama's net wealth for salaries so far is anywhere from between 3,600,000 to 6,380,000. Again, it's vague because there's just too many loopholes to see what and where and how. The Good Life. Okay, let's go over to the CEOs, just the ones in the US. Okay, the top 10 CEOs during 2012 received $4.7 billion in pay. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook got $2.27 billion in 2012. Richard Kinder, he's a CEO of an energy company here in the US, got $1.16 billion. Can't these people just pay a little bit of their fair share? Now I could sit here and bore you with name after name after name of millions and billionaires, and yet when Congress goes to find money to get to work on the debt, or at least the interest on the debt, they go after the very poor, the ones that are unable to sleep in a shelter, like a home or an apartment. They're out in the street getting just the tiniest bit of Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and food stamps, but they can't afford a place to live. The inequities in the US is startling. We're the richest country on the planet, easily. We have more billionaires and millionaires than any other country, but yet when it goes to pay our debt and our interest on the debt, we go after the very poorest, and we leave the very wealthy alone. When was the last time you saw Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook contribute like a third of his wealth to trickle down the debt, or at least the interest, or any of the others? No, they keep getting raises and loopholes so they don't have to pay taxes. And why are so many of these people getting so wealthy? Is because the U.S. and their quantitative easing is putting so much money into the banks, and the banksters are getting so wealthy. It just, doesn't that just make you a little ill feeling? Okay, the next number was very hard to find, and it's so questionable I don't even know whether we're even close. But I wanted to find out how many homeless people there were in the US, because here in San Francisco we have thousands, and they're getting more and more people by the month, and the politicians here are just pushing them over here, coming up with laws about no homeless here, sit lie, closing the parks at night, no sleeping in doorways, no water, fresh water for them to drink, anything like that. But this is the number I found. That's 630,000 throughout the U.S. Main cause of homelessness: medical bills are too high, can't be paid. Okay, well, let's think of this logically. If I'm going to go back to the U.S. Congress for a minute, and the numbers that I posted, and why I think they're so wrong. First of all, if the Congress reported higher than they really got, they'd have to pay more taxes, and they'd get penalties for not paying. So they're obviously not going to say they got more. They're going to probably say they got less. Just, that's just my thoughts. Okay, now on to the real important stuff. If you remember in my last series of videos, we had board-ons coming. An actual board-ons that has never been done before. And because of equipment failure, we couldn't do it. Remember, it had to be on that certain day and time. Well, I'm about to announce a new board-on state. It looks like Mars, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune are all getting in the right orientation, in the right location for another board-ons try. The zone of board will be in optimal conditions. So I'm going to start doing the calculations to figure out how to do the electronics part of it and hook it up to the board, and also the exact day that this board-ons will take place. Now I'll be asking for your help in the zone. And everybody that's watched this video series knows what the zone is. We should probably do a little test. Maybe next video we'll do the numbers test, and we'll see if people are back into the zone and if we can do a board-ons. So in the next, or maybe the one after that video, I'll make an announcement of the day of the board-ons, and it'll have to be all of us participating. So let me know what your thoughts are on this situation with the wealthy versus the poor, and who's the ones that have to pay the penalties and have to pay the penalties of the bankers taking our money. Till next time. This just in. Uh-oh.